Well, it's raining outside, so I can't put the BMW outside to dry. We're gonna just leave it here. I'm gonna start on this one for a little bit. It's the car we tinted, I guess, a couple years ago, and they like it. Now they want to do their windshield. We will be putting on Llumars Air80. It's about as dark as the factory glass is, but it has a very high heat rejection. I'm gonna show you a couple little tricks. That towel's gonna be wet. Let's get it dried off though. It's got rain. Alright, so we're gonna get this dry. So I think they actually like shrink there and break. Yeah, because every single one I've seen that was broken in the middle right there. So I had mentioned when I was working on the BMW, one of the places I kind of did learn some techniques or tips or whatever was a forum called Tint Dude. Seems like there's still some stuff going on Tint Dude, but I think forums in general are kind of a dying media. But one of the most important things I ever picked up is called the M-Dog soap method. Used to use baby powder before, and then we learned this, and this is amazing. Just take a wet towel, put some just the cheapest basic ivory soap. You don't really want it to have moisturizers or anything, just plain soap. We're gonna go ahead and just essentially make a very thin soap film coating the windshield, and this will kind of help us when it comes time to do our shrinking. Let's go swap this film out. I think if I remember right, the patterns are pretty good for those Imprezas. I don't think I'll have to do a lot. Air80. So here's the good stuff. Brand new roll too. He just did, I think, one windshield out of it. Surprisingly, do a lot of these windshields. It's hot here, and so people like it. Go ahead, you can watch this plotter kind of do its measurements. We got a 17 Impreza. Let's see. Go baby go. This poor computer is old. Subaru. Probably not as fast as the software would like it to be. And Impreza hatchback. Definitely a base hatchback. Has a manual transmission. I don't think you can get anything in an Impreza with a manual transmission that isn't base. Well, look at that. No windshields. So we're gonna be hand cutting. Let's go ahead and there's enough for this. And take this here. We're gonna take this with us. Wet our towel. So, along with Mr. M-Dog's soap method, I like to shrink my curved glass with a fairly standard H pattern. And so we're just gonna put this here. If I'm lucky, get it to stay put. Come across over here, have our knife ready. Unroll. And give her a slice. Don't slice too deep though. Don't want to cut the paint. So go put this back. Gotta keep it safe. Stuff's expensive. And let's go ahead. Kind of straighten things up. What we'll do, we'll give it sort of a pre-trim. I'll shrink it. And then we'll come back and shrink it or trim it the rest of the way. Make it nice and tight. Come around the corner. Yeah, so for this, I don't really need it to be super exact. Only because before I shrink it, film kind of likes to bunch up and move around and stuff. So this is just to make sure it's not getting hung up by the windshield wipers or the paint, whatever. Let's see. All right. Last little bit here. So kind of give it a pre-trim. Go ahead, smooth this out. And smooth this out. Wet the sides. Bless you, Mike. Everybody tell Mike to stop smoking. His lungs will love him for it. And then tack this down here. A little bit of water. Smooth this out. I always do it by hand first because it seems like if I go straight to the card, I end up creasing it. So put our soap there. And what are we doing? Oh, cotton glove. All right. So I imagine, hopefully, if you're a tinner and you're watching this, you sort of know what I'm doing. If you're not a tinner, this is how we make a one-piece window. You're okay, Mike. So just kind of using my heat gun, sort of just smoothing it out. You only really want to smooth out the vertical parts, so if you got anything going sideways, kind of want to straighten that up, make it vertical. This isn't too difficult of a window to shrink, so you're not going to see a whole lot. I'll usually try to shrink up the sides first, that way you kind of work the film towards the middle. If you start in the middle, work your way towards the outside, it ends up trying to shrink too much over here. You get like creases and funny shrink lines and stuff. So we'll just kind of work our way towards the middle. Looks good there. Go ahead and again, we're making things vertical. Only shrink vertical lines. again, working the film. Same thing, kind of get the side shrunk and then work it out towards the middle. Sometimes I wonder how many times in my life this hand has wiped a piece of tint. More than I can count. And these are just cheap, like Harbor Freight gloves. I bought a 10-pack. I think I'm on number 2 5 years later. They don't really wear out too fast. Heat gun. This is a snap-on heat gun. It's probably about 5 or 6 years old, and it's been the best heat gun I've ever owned. It just doesn't die. Dropped it a million times. I do let them cool down. I'll put it on the cold setting before I shut it off. I think sometimes when you shut them off hot, they like to break. They don't like the heat. Do you need help, Mike? Or it's kind of a big one. Here, let me help you. Hold on, hold on. There you go. Got it?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. All right, so we're gonna trim this down. Always, number 1 rule, cutting on glass. Stainless steel blades. I don't know if you can see that, but never use carbon steel on glass. You'll have a bad day. If it's your own car, use whatever you want. If it's somebody else's car, never use carbon steel blades. They will score the hell out of the glass. Always want to kind of keep a sharp blade on it, and just kind of a nice even pressure. Try not to dig down. Try to keep it very flat. Use my fingers on the side of the blade. I think that sort of keeps you from digging down into the glass. I don't know if I want to tint this car here, finish up the BMW, and then put this over where all my lights are. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Going around the bend in the home stretch. All right. So, got that. Usually on these cars with third visors, I'll cut around the third visor. Sometimes the film just doesn't stick all that well, and it ends up sort of getting little I call them peanuts. You can call them lots of different things, but just kind of little wrinkles in the film, and then you're trying to push them out, and the visor ends up not looking like nice and even. It kind of gets some hazy spots or something. So I got a feeling we're gonna go ahead and do that. Let me trim this down real quick. Alright, coming around the corner. And we'll go up. I usually like to keep windshields pretty close to the edge. There's a lot of dirt where the urethane is. And if you start bumping into that dirt, you start pulling the dirt into... What's up, Mike? Talking to myself? It's fun. I like it. I won't need you here to talk to anymore. Let's see if I can get in this car with the thing on my head.
Okay. Oh, there's sticker. Is disintegrating. I don't know about this. This is the important part, stayed. In not good shape, sticker. Well, the important part stayed. That's what matters. Let's see. Ooh, make sure to clean that area real good. So, 220 torques. Got that parking pass here. Just loosen that a little bit. Your slides up. You can take this out. Oh, that's the ones that don't unplug. Let me get in with this here. There we go. Fine. This here. You know what they say. If it moves and you don't want it to, duct tape. Let's go ahead. Let's put this here. Hopefully we don't make a duct tape mess. Oh, let's go the other way. The front side. Hopefully, name brand duct tape, so hopefully it doesn't make a mess. Should be okay. We'll keep it off the upholstery though. Plastic, we can clean a little bit of alcohol. Upholstery, I don't want to find out. Alright, so that's out of my way. You can throw black ice in the garbage. What do you think about black ice, Mike? So what do you think about black ice? Throw it in the garbage.
Worse. Worse.
My car still smells like a stripper's ass.
You know. It wouldn't be worth the money if it didn't last very long. Alright. So we're gonna cut around the mirror here, keep it nice and close. Same thing like with the sides, you don't want to be bumping into the mirror bracket. You end up getting a bunch of dirt in your tint. Surprisingly, the area around a mirror bracket can hold a lot of dirt. So we're just gonna try to make
this look nice and even. Just kind of going on this second row of dots here. And try to keep that same spacing all the way up. And up. And then snap this off another blade. We'll finish it up. Coming around the corner. Just come up here. You can see a little better. Okay, so this one is ready to tint. I'm gonna probably finish up this BMW and then come back. Kinda like I was saying, Llumar tint likes to roll away from the glass, so I'm not gonna put this on my peel board quite yet because in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, chances are I'll find it on the ground. So let's go ahead, clean up that last little bit there. Got a wet towel, clean that soap off. When we put the moldings on, Mike, we'll put a little bit of glue like the factory on the newer ones.